March 22nd, 9:47 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3.
Adrian did it?
That's what it looks like.
Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that.
In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you.
A mountain of evidence?
I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you.
Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that.
I understand.
Well, it's almost time.
Nope.
Look, they weren't giving us any hints.
Yeah. I was expecting Francisca even. Mia, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day.
Indeed. Well, let's get going.
Beep, beep, beep.
It's him!
Beep. This is Wright.
Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial.
Maya, she's unharmed, right?
Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For myself, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning.
Present? What in the world would you want to give me?
Please tell me you got us a gun.
You'll figure it out once the trial opens, even if you don't like my gift. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please.
Wait! Beep. The kidnapper sent me a present?
Mr. Lawyer Dude, who was that?
No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything.
Dude, did your nose just get longer?
He knows.
March 22nd, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom number 3.
Rabble. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Prosecution and defense ready.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
I'm a ghost!
Alright. Trial's over. Not guilty. Everyone leave.
Yay! That was an easy final case.
I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I did not kill her.
I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor!
Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman.
It wasn't me, I swear. What?
Shot?
Ah, someone finally did it.
Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present. Ms. Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she disappeared, this would be to your advantage. This is totally insane! Ms. Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition.
That's good. Oof. Wait, you're...
Thought he'd show up.
Okay. Hello. Your Honor. Due to circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear at court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. Prosecution is ready. Naturally. Even though I am at the wrong desk.
Look, it's been a while since... Last time I was in court, I was behind this one, so...
Here we go. This one looks good. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery.
That's an interesting parallel.
I know, right? Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. Edgeworth, can you just kind of give us this one? The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ungar. Nope, apparently not. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. Ooh,
It's
look at my finger
hair.
waggle.
It's my hair.
By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Hey, there will be less whipping this time. Witness, your name and occupation?
Actually, I picked up a whip earlier today. Just thought I'd, keep things consistent.
Indeed. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct, for now. For now. After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe?
Aw. Prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now then, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that.
Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight.
Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent.
You will never defeat me.
The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth.
I won the lottery.
Oh, well, shit. Nice. Bare facts of the case.
This murder happened after the hero of heroes won the ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Garita, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. I don't know how we mentioned that.
Well, that just means there's a contradiction for us already.
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room.
Let me check this real quick.
It was only wet on the top, not the inside.
I know, I'm just making sure it actually said there was water in the description.
Yep.
I was just making sure that was there.
Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Well, first of all, what he just said is also a contradiction because freaking his manager had dinner with him.
Alright.
At
Time to press everything.
least we could freely do this in this case.
Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony?
Okay, pal, the ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later.
And that's when the victim's body was found, correct?
Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. They don't mind when you press this guy, because it's just getting more information.
Yeah. Like, if this is, a lot of the time, just pressing everything is what you're supposed to do with him. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct?
Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Ungar's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ungard. After visiting his room, she went next to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. Oh, that explains it. She was getting him. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. Meh.
The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Karita was stabbed in the chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal.
Well, excuse me!
Excuse me, detective. Take a good, hard look at the photo in the crime scene. Now, a real pro's attention will be drawn here, to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir.
See, I saw that. I thought that was just part of his costume.
Me too. Oh, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana.
Mr. Judge loves large bananas!
Do not question my choice of produce.
Then what about the knife?
It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. That's a very red line around his neck now I'm looking at it. Did it like cut into his neck?
Wait, what?
Did the bandana cut into his neck?
I don't think so. What do you mean a red line?
Like that very dark line right there, going around his neck.
That's part of his costume.
It's hard to tell.
Like right here,
Yeah,
that's part of his costume.
it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it kind of is, but his costume is like full body. So anyway, read.
We have a crafty murderer on our hands here.
Autopsy report added to the court record.
Hey,
I'm just looking at it. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Okay. And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. I don't see that dark line as part of his costume.
Like this thing here. Just bear in mind the photo was black and white.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make the white thing black then.
Wait, let me... Wrong photo. Where's the photo? Is this it? Give me a moment. Okay, you got this bandana here, right?
I think that's it. It's hard to tell. Because
And
it's a
then
lot thinner right there.
Either way, I'm fairly certain it didn't cut into his neck.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure that is supposed to just be part of his costume or part of a shirt he's wearing under the costume or something.
Okay.
Just... yeah. Alright, anyway, go ahead and read.
The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but
But...
the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims.
only the victims, huh?
I see. So much for my theory then. I wanted to be a lawyer for once.
How come nobody ever questions the idea of someone wearing gloves to open the thing?
I have no idea. Maybe gloves don't exist.
Objection, Rhino!
You don't know. That's a robot arm.
Look at his other hand, though.
That's a costume.
It's a glove!
Nope, that's a sock. A hand sock.
Whatever, just read. Let's do this, I guess. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case?
The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage with the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar.
So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel.
Then what was in it? Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Ungard? Because there was a reason enough to suspect him.
Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir.
See, if we're suspecting Adrian Andrews, I have a feeling she might have, like, stuck the knife in there because it had Matt's fingerprints on it. Though I don't know then why she has the killer's card.
Matt Ungard and Juan Carita were huge rivals with each other.
I like how you kind of were in Edgeworth's voice at first.
They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Ungard's
Hakama.
The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the golden knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Bought it? It looks like the silverware at the hotel.
Yeah, well, to be fair, anything gold could be attributed to the hotel.
Yeah. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir.
Okay.
Suspicious. And then there's his button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it not? And this button is also covered in blood, and not just a Pokeball. Yes, and we know the blood on it is the victim's, good sir.
What?
I mean, who else's would it be? Well, this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
We already have 2 full pages of evidence.
Yeah. Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right?
I'll find the hole in your argument somehow.
You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Got your number, man.
Alright, let's do this.
How
But in
huge were they?
But in terms of popularity, Mr. Ungard won, did he not?
Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Carita was always one step behind Mr. Ungard and everything. This year it also seemed like he finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown.
But Mr. Carita lost the Grand Prix in the end.
That's too bad. You must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Yeah.
Hmm. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Ungard was beating Mr. Carita in the popularity polls.
Well, yeah, I guess, but...
Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Here it comes. Oh, I was expecting Edward to reject.
Yes, I agree. Well, detective? It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive.
There it is.
Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edwards, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No! Well, now, detective, let's continue with the testimony.
He objected just to rub it in. Wow.
Oh, not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. You can talk about my pension later, sir.
What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Wow, really? That is the worst way ever to just ignore him pointing out the motive. Do you have any proof that button belonged to the victim?
Huh? I don't get you, pal.
Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Huh? But, can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it.
Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward.
Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir.
Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in.
Thread.
Huh?
The button was attached to the costume by a thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match.
How the hell do you do that? Those things are like an atom big!
Microscopes. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal.
That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat.
I'm awesome.
When was this button found?
Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Carita. And we did a search on them all. Lots of orifices. That's where we found the button. In an orifice. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people.
Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife?
Huh? What do you mean, pal?
By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand?
Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that.
I can't believe the bumbling of this department.
Hopeless. Were you paying attention to his testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then?
Let me just double check something real quick. Yep, Gatewater's engraved in it.
Bought my ass.
There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife.
Sorry, pal, this isn't just some pocket knife. It's not really useful for anything, and you can't just walk around with it either.
Well, this is not good. If the prosecution could prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix. Yes?
There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood and a knife with Ungard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix?
Alright, let's go do this.
Bought my ass.
Feels good to say that again. Wait a second.
What?
So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand.
That's right, pal. The defendant.
Did not buy this knife.
Huh?
Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Called that the instant we saw it. Huh? It has Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel.
Uh-oh.
The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated.
Rabble, rabble, rabble. Yes, that is very true. There's a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless.
What?
Oh, you missed it. I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined.
How so?
I'll admit, this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't know... Oh... The question is... Where did this knife come from? Well, why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Carito's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is at the top of the table. A fucking silverware set, or goldware, one might say. There's a knife and fork all on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? Oh, you didn't realize it yet. If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Ungard. Notice what's missing?
Yeah, I know.
I was saying that for the court.
Oh, okay.
Especially what was on top of his table. There's something missing. Perhaps, is it a single knife? And if you carry a knife across a hall, obviously you're premeditating. We did investigate the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Ungard's knife was missing. Mr. Ungard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven that this was premeditated murder. Thank you. Suck my balls, right? Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliantly clear deduction.
It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning.
Yes, I did.
This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it.
Indeed. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court.
Wait, what? Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court?
How about, hey guys, kidnapper?
I mean, it's I don't know if we can whip out the suicide stuff yet, or like the guitar case, maybe the guitar case, but I don't know if that's entered yet or not.
Okay. It was mentioned, but
Wine glass.
The wine glass.
It's hard to press that for relevant, though. I don't know what they would actually want at this point.
It's going to be nothing on the current page, I'm fairly certain. There is the wine glass, but the wine glass and the guitar case are probably the only things.
Yeah.
What if I say no, not right now? I don't think that sort of thing, like, makes me lose, so...
I have no idea.
I'll try the wine glass, I guess. There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance. And only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here.
If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh,
holy shit! You may now present one, and only one, piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show the court? I don't think it's I don't know.
I'm not going to save state here. If we get this wrong, I'm just going to choose the other option.
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time.
The game is intimidating me. Yash didn't want to do it.
The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say?
Oh, well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass.
What?
Silly Phoenix. It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She would just calmly set it down. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking and somehow didn't spill it despite it being a very tall object. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright?
So, like, she comes in with some tomato juice or something, and then, oh god, a body! Step, step, step. Place.
Runs in the hall.
Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking?
No. It's behind the body. It's filled with tomato juice, which is on the table.
If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough.
Well, I can be provocative.
The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We
I
would
am
like
provoked.
We would like to see something that proves it was Ms. Andrews who set the cup on the table.
The glass. You've turned the situation on its head again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. He has fingerprints.
Yep. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it.
What?
Oh, silly Phoenix. You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice?
Then...
Of course it has been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints.
Fingerprints?
There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one. Well, whose were they?
They were
not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews.
My bad. For some reason, I thought I was Edgeworth. What?
You can never be Edgeworth. That is why I said the person who had discovered the body left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright?
I can't believe I fell into another trap.
Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. Oh, my word! But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't!
Now do you see, Mr. Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard in this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Oh no, Judge. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. You belong to me now. The prosecution is yet another witness we would like the court to hear from.
Another witness?
Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness.
Oh no! What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Please don't be. Fuck.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.